Two former Premier League winners lock horns this coming weekend as Leicester City take on Blackburn Rovers over at the King Power, as Rovers look to build upon that all-important first victory at home against Southampton. I've grabbed the lads together to talk all things Rovers, and we're going to come at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It is, of course, a Rovers podcast time, a chance for us to talk about everything close to our heart, that is Blackburn Rovers, and we'll get to that in a second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe for Blackburn Rovers Championship. Woo, football, we're going to all here under one roof here. That's right, Leicester City await Rovers, just, of course, around the corner as we look forward to the game this Halloween week. That's right, but before all that, I want to give a big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. And, of course, if you're new, smash that subscribe. Now, of course, it's been a long time since I got the guys together, so make sure they are well appreciated. And, of course, smashing that like target. We're looking for 50 likes for this podcast, so please do drop us a like whenever you get a chance. It costs you absolutely nothing, and, of course, does wonders for the old YouTube channel. But anyway, all right, then, let's, of course, look back first and foremost for that result against Southampton this past weekend and bring on the boys. Okay, joining me once again is the Rovers Mafioso, fresh off the back of our first home win of the campaign, and both of these guys were there. That's right. Let's start with John T. Let's bring him on in here. Of course, you were at Ewood Park watching Rovers beat Southampton, our first home win of the campaign. I had a quick look online at some of the third parties' opinions saying that Rovers bossed this game. Was that the case, or was it a bit more 50-50?
For me personally, I think this was our worst home performance, and yet we got a win. I've seen us play much better and lose, so I guess it's the old quandary of what would you prefer to do? Prefer to see good football, but we don't get the results, or play. In my opinion, I didn't think we played that well on Saturday, but we got what we needed, which was the all-important 3 points. So I'm quietly happy. I think there's been a lot of noise around the Sheffield United game, and I understand why, because if you look at the two teams, we're pretty parallel going into the game. But that for me was a false economy. What you've got to do is you've got to remember, under Chris Wilder, Sheffield United are a force to be reckoned with, and I'm pretty convinced to say that if Chris Wilder had been there since the start of the season, they will be up into probably the playoff places. There'll be a real force in that league. So, unlike a lot of Blackburn Rovers fans, unlike a lot of my friends, I was sceptical about that game. I honestly thought that we might struggle in that game, and it was proven that we did. I mean, the result, in my opinion, flattered them. I think, to walk off that game 3-1, it sounds like we've had a real whooping, especially being 1-0 at half time. But honestly, the first half of that Sheffield United game, from where I was sat, I thought we played some brilliant football. We diffused anything that Sheffield United threw at us. And we just nullified them. They just didn't look a force. But then, obviously, in the half time, they've had a bit of a bollocking. They've then come out a bit more guns blazing, but I don't think they created that much up until the goal, to be fair. And if you look at the goals, the game, in my opinion, in my small mind, went that we were 1-0 up. They came out fired up a little bit more than us. They got the break, they got the goal, and then Rovers were pushing for 2-1, thinking, "Hang on, we've been the better team for the first half. Let's just replicate what we did in the first half." But then, as we push forward, we're always going to be exposed under Val. It's his style. We're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards further up the field. You'll notice when we go up on the attack, we've got more men in the box, so we're a little bit more exposed at the back. And Sheffield United do what they're good at doing, which is hitting us on the break. And I suppose that's a caveat for any of Big Val's teams to do that. But long answer to short question: how did we do on Saturday? I think that was our worst home performance, but we got the 3 points. So it's that quandary, that conundrum as to what would you prefer. I think I'd prefer to watch. I wouldn't say rubbish football. It wasn't rubbish. It's just not as good as the heights that we can expect from these guys. But we got 3 points, so yeah, I'd take the 3 points all day long.
Thoughts on Jacob? You're also there. Jonty says worst performance. Are you on that side of the spectrum, or do you see things differently?
No, I don't think it was a great performance by any means. I thought Ryan Albiasu in particular, he goes and gets the first goal, but I thought it was his worst game in a Rovers shirt before that. It was a brilliant cross for the goal. Obviously, puts it in the danger area where, obviously if someone gets a flick on it, it goes in. So the keeper couldn't exactly come for it, and obviously nestles in the bottom corner. But yeah, not a great performance by any means. But in my opinion, I don't think we've played that well, kind of overall. Anyway, this season, I'm still struggling to see what Val's style of football is. Under John Dahl, you knew it was kind of more the tiki taka football and whatnot. Eustace was obviously route one, long ball stuff. I'm still not seeing an identity with this team. One result doesn't change everything by any means. Hopefully, it can be a catalyst to kick on. But yeah, for me, the Sheffield United was obviously a big loss, and I'm probably a bit more critical of the lads than maybe Jonty is. I just had a quick look whilst Jonty were talking there. Since Wilder's come in, I think he's got 4 losses and 3 wins, which is obviously better than they were doing before he come in. But he's by no means kind of completely changed them into this winning team. I think they won't get relegated by any means. I think they'll obviously we've gone above them now after that win because they threw it away at Dumpdale the other day. But yeah, I think they'll be mid-table. To be honest, I'm not sure they will actually kick on to the playoffs. I think weird scenario with him going and then getting reinstated so quickly, but yeah, I mean, not a great performance, but we got the 3 points. I'm glad Good Johnson's off the mark. He desperately needed that after fluffing his lines a couple of times with some bad sitters and kind of the fans around me all getting on his back and whatnot. So I assume that's going on all over at stadium. But the passion he showed after scoring that goal and passion in the stands as well. I can't remember the last time a goal went in at home and there was limbs and there were people just like overjoyed with the fact that we'd actually managed to score 2 and obviously take the lead and was we looked fully in control, I suppose, after that to go on and win it. So yeah, it was a weird game in that regard, but a good win, and let's just hope now we can maybe scab a few points against Leicester and Bristol.
Yeah, they're the next ones on the horizon. Of course, congratulations, Holmesy, Bafana make it to the World Cup. Just want to say that,
Yeah,
get that in there. But
yeah, lots of celebration this side of the world. We
yeah,
nearly threw it away. Had 3 points deducted for a ridiculous administrative error. Then struggled to beat Zimbabwe. But yeah, first time we're in the World Cup since we hosted it in 2010.
yeah, I'm happy.
Wow.
I'm happy to see you guys there. That'd be great, and
Yeah,
we can add that to the channel a little bit. A bit of South Africa coverage. Anyway,
yeah,
you caught the game in your man cave there.
yeah.
What is your take on the performance? Of course, it has not been pretty viewing of late, but how's your take on the match?
Yeah, I mean, look, uh, I've always said I've never seen a win I didn't like. I don't mind scrappy football if we're fighting. I don't mind guys getting stuck in there. I'm not one of those who want to see champagne football every week. If I want to watch champagne football, I'll go watch Barcelona or Real Madrid or one of those teams. I watch Blackburn because I want them to win football matches, and they need to do that by any means possible. So if it's going to be a scrap and they're going to get involved and they're going to, it's nice to see a bit of luck running our way for a change. Balls falling at the feet, for the second goal there for Good Johnson. Ball came straight back to him to put it away. I think the way our luck's been going over the last couple of matches, especially since that Leicester rain off, the ball hasn't really dropped for us. So it was nice to see something happening. That first goal was also, I suppose, the goalkeeper was unsighted, a bit of a lameish cross, if you ask me. Not a lot of power, but it seemed to be catch exactly the right angle to blindside the keeper and sneak in there under it. So nice to see some some luck going our way, I suppose. But also, you could see the guys wanted it. You could see that they were pushing. They had some fight in them, which I think we have accused the players of not having in the past. So that was good, and I think it's hopefully a catalyst moving forward. Of course, we got that dreaded Leicester game that we should have had the 3 points in the bag, but so be it. We've got to go back out there and win it again.
Ipswich, yeah.
Sorry, Ipswich. Sorry, not this. Ipswich.
Leicester on the brain. We got Leicester on the brain. We've also got Denver in the house. Let's get everybody on here. It is a full house. We're all here, all looking good. And of course, did you get to get to the match this weekend, Denver? But what? Yeah, you didn't.
I had a game, so I was in Wigan. I had a game in Wigan of all places. So I remember being always torn when I have a game on the weekend. Either I'm playing or I'm like, I want to watch the Rovers, or I always pick and choose. Anyway, I went and played, and we won. And then I look at my phone and see the 1-0 down. I'm like, here we go. Here's the story. And as I was driving back home, just seeing us go 1-1 and 2-1, and then of course listen to my dad who was at the game, and sounded like a familiar story, but unfortunately this time we found the goals. But I was a long way of saying no, I wasn't at the game, Dirk.
Wow, it's fine. There's another one just around the corner. Of course, it's actually back-to-back away games now, with of course Leicester and Bristol City mentioned. But I think when you look at the Southampton game, of course, a team that was in the Premier League last season, it's hopefully going to be fuel for fire, fuel for confidence for the lads. The performances were good in some areas. I got some XG graphics later on in this presentation. I'm not too sure we'll get to those. But, it does show that we are creating chances. We're just not putting that final ball in the back of the net. But a massive confidence-boosting win at the right time. I had humongous doubts that we would get any points over the course of these stretcher games to the next international break. But I feel more confident moving into Leicester and Bristol City. They're not going to be easy. We've never had I can't remember the last time we actually won at Bristol City. But I think Leicester are there for the taking.
We've got a decent record against these relegated sides if you're counting the Ipswich result. But
yeah, I am still counting. But yeah, so currently the situation in the table looks a little like this. Hopefully you can see that's quite a hard graphic to see. But we are nestling still just above the drop zone with 10 points, a game in hand. And of course, on the form, still pretty ugly in the form book. Nowhere near our early season predictions that we all had of flirting with the playoffs. Denver, you weren't at the game, but maybe you can give us your opinion of the first 11 games of the season.
Just frustration, really, isn't it? Because it's definitely not a lack of trying, in the sense that, again, I remember putting it in the group chat, and Jacob jokingly saying I sound like Rudy after his little thing, but we have been playing some good stuff, other than the Charlton game, which was dire, and moments of lack of concentration, but it's nothing that can't be fixed, and people jumping on the back of Ismaël and the likes, everything on the pitch is suggesting that it's working. We're creating chances, we're just not putting them away. We're leaking too many goals at the back. That of course, they are the areas that you need to tighten up on. And look, I don't think this game has meant, all right, we've fixed all that. We're scoring goals. We've won a game. We're not league. I still think, I'm sure there's going to be a game where it could be even the next game. It could be Leicester, where we have 6-7 chances, don't put them away. They have a few half chances, a bit of a switch off of a free kick, a little bit of switch off here, a moment of play, and then they'll go and score. It's going to happen again, but ultimately, it's now just trying to capitalize on trying to stop these little errors, trying to be a little bit more clinical. Look, it's just going to be time at the end of the day. But on the whole, we have been playing some really good stuff, and just gotta trust the process at this point. Look, I know fans and everything, they want results. Results is always the case. But this is the team that we got. It's not going to change until January. Look, I'm not expecting us to be bringing a wholesale of world class strikers to go and put the ball in the back of the net, and defenders and goalkeepers. So this is the model that they're going with, and let's just hope it pays off long term. Just give them time. give Ishmael the time. Because I'm not like everyone's saying, you know, all the rights and then everything. I've seen all the things in the stands on when we were losing, but just be like, who else is going to come in? Like, who else is going to come in and do a job at the minute? And we're not playing some bad stuff, right? You know, so just be careful what we wish for. If something does happen, Ishmael's not going to want to stick around if his fans are getting us on his back. And again, we have been playing some really good stuff without the reward. So that's my take on it.
Well, don't go too far ahead of the agenda here. You know, that's like later on in this spiel here. But I have a name that I could throw into it, and of course we'll get into that in a minute. But let's go around the houses. Of course, I want to kind of make this a bit of a spotlight on the episode here. Holmesy, let's go to you. Let's go. What's your take on the season so far? First 11 games.
It's been one of those seasons where we had a lot of changes. We had a whole personnel change, a whole lot going out, a whole lot coming in. And it's always going, when you have one of those windows where there's been so many changes, it's never going to click straight away. You know, there's been some good stuff, there's been some poor stuff, but the guys have got to get used to championship football. You know, championship football is a whole different league in itself. It's not the same as a couple of the guys playing on the continent in Europe and that. So they're going to take time to get used to this way of football. A couple of guys who have come in haven't hit their strides yet. The Portuguese midfielder, I think, is one of them. He came in with a lot of fanfare. Lewis, I think, as well came in with a bit of fanfare from Scotland. So give these guys a bit of time to gel, get Ishmael to understand their games, and yeah, let's see where we are come January and what other new signings come in. But it's the same thing there as well. You don't want to have wholesale changes, bring a guy from Europe who's going to be ineffectual, or somebody who doesn't understand the game is going to take time embedding themselves into the team. You kind of need a ready-made championship striker, if that's what we are going to be looking for. So far, I mean, listen, you got to be disappointed with where we are. It's never nice to be just above the drop zone after this week or in the drop zone previously. But at least we're only fighting two teams now, with Sheffield Wednesday getting a solid whack of points deducted. So hopefully we don't stoop to that and get in a fight with them. But you know, it's made the relegation battle a little bit easier, I suppose. Still a long way to go. But I hope we can claw our way back up out of it. I think with the team we've got at the moment, we probably can, but I don't see us really pushing on anywhere near a playoff fight. I think at best we can become mid-table of the bottom half.
Yeah, that's probably the first aim, is to just get moving, trying to get more points on the board. Jonty, are you scared at all for the season for Blackburn Rovers? Have you hit that panic button yet, or have you still got where are you? Where's your mind at right now?
Bipolar, I guess, will be the best expression I can use. I like Ismaël. I do. I see what he's trying to do. He's had a lot of changes. You know, when we cast our mind back to the start of the season, pre-season friendlies, we were playing really, really good football. Really good football. We were getting, obviously, I say results. I use that term loosely, but we were getting wins and yeah. But we've just it feels to me sometimes that we've just not had that rub of the green, and that rub of the green is just the ball bouncing in the right area. It's always there for a defender as opposed to an attacker when we're there, and vice versa. When we're on the defensive, it seems that everything just seems to go for the opposition, with the exception of Saturday, where it fell to Good Johnson for a change, right in the right place, and that's a kind of little bit of lady luck that we need. But I think if you've kind of given up on Ismaël, then you probably, I'm guessing from his previous comment that Jacob is probably more on the Ismaël out camp. But you know, I think he's probably the best that we can possibly get at this moment in time. I think we should stick with him. I'm enthused by some of the football that he's played, even though the results haven't gone for us. Yeah, listen, there's no hiding away from it. The league table don't lie. I think we've suffered a little bit. There's been a bit of sulking going on with Dominic Hyam going in right at the last minute. I think that's hit the team hard. Obviously, the Ipswich result / not result going against us, sort of thing. We've it's I think this is probably the most frustrated I've been at the start of a season for a long time, because I do see something there. I do see progression. I see a lot of players that have never played together, and I think we've been lulled into this false sense of security as well, because we were you look at Hull away, we were like Barcelona. We were absolutely brilliant. We were all waxing lyrical after the game, but then it's suddenly like, a few results don't then go for us. But we got the monkey off the back at Ewood. We've got a win there now. The next few fixtures are tough. But a long answer to your short question. Am I happy? I think it'd be foolish for me to say yes, I'm happy. When we're one place above the relegation zone, but I just think it's a false economy. I think the Rovers fans just need to chill out. Oh, sorry, there must have been a goal outside because the tannoy's just come over. I think the Rovers fans just need to chill out, and we get behind the team and just support it. I'll be the happy clapper. I know you see loads of stuff on Facebook about happy clapping and things like that, but I pay my money to support the team. It's what happens at the club happens at the club. I have no control over that, nor has anybody, as we've all seen for the last 11, 12, 13 years, whatever it is. So disappointing start, but I think, as the old song goes, things can only get better.
Yeah, I'm also I've always been a big Val in and all this, but has been testing my patience, and I'm I would say there has been some moments that my loyalty has been pushed to the absolute limit, I think about the question of who will fill those shoes. And again, we'll get to that in a minute. Jacob, of course, you got your finger on a few pulses in the Rovers space these days. What's your feelings, and what's maybe the feelings of the We Are the Rovers board? Is that the board that you're on? The We Are the Rovers board? Is that it?
It is, yeah.
So what's their take? What's their consensus of Big Val? We're not talking about the other stuff. We'll touch a little bit on the other stuff in a little bit, but like Big Val and just Rovers form at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously no one thinks the form right now is acceptable. In terms of views on the manager, I think probably as this podcast will be tonight, I think obviously we've all got varying opinions. I'm probably the most Val out of a lot of us, it would seem. But I mean, I can excuse maybe, obviously it's been a bumpy start. When obviously, it's quite clear from the summer window, that obviously we've lost so much championship experience, and we've replaced it all, bar Sean McLaughlin, with players who don't know this league, and they've not played at this level before. But what doesn't help is when you've got Valérien Ismaël then doing a BBC Radio Lancashire interview and telling the reporter that in his opinion the quality of the squad hasn't been lowered. The average age has been lowered, but the quality of the squad is still where it was last season, which, in my opinion, is just a blatant lie. And if he's going to stand by the squad and come out with comments like that, and obviously they're his players, then he needs to stand by the results. They haven't been good enough, and it just doesn't help in general with the way he conducted himself in that interview. I get that obviously he's going through a tough time right now, and obviously before that result he was getting a lot of stick, and his entire time really, Ewood, he's only been getting stick, to be honest. Even obviously when he first come in, had that horrendous run. Obviously he got a bit of joy after that, but 90% of his time at Ewood, he's had the fans on his back. So I get the frustration, but you're not covering yourself in any glory when you're speaking so rudely to a reporter who's got questions to ask, and I wonder if that'll be the next reporters getting banned at Ewood after that. But just saying, like, he'd stop the interview then and there for the reporter asking whether he has any pressure. Simple answer, in my opinion, is no. He doesn't have any pressure because we can't afford to sack him. But yeah, I'm not happy with the state of the way we've been, and like I said, the manager's not covering himself in much glory with how he's conducting himself on and off the pitch either.
Yeah, well, you're probably right in regards to the. I don't think we will sack him because he's on such a long contract. I don't think that's right. But there are still, if you look hard enough, honest men in football, and it's very hard enough. You've got to look really hard. But is there a scenario, Denver? I'm going to put this to you that maybe, the Southampton game for me, when we went 1-0 down, I thought, you know what, we're going to lose this game. And there might be a case that Big Val thinks, you know what, I can't do this. I can't, and walk away. Is there a scenario you see that Big Val would walk away from Blackburn Rovers despite being on such a long 3-year deal?
Yeah, for sure. If there's a point where we're on his back, the results aren't coming, and he thinks, why am I, what's in it for him? He's trying to come in and help the club. And that's all. Like, at the end of the day, remember, he's trying to get results. He's not here to sabotage. He's no Owen Coyle, in disguise. I don't know, but no. But in terms of look, he's trying to do his best, and if the results weren't, if the performances weren't there, I think there'd be every right. If we're playing really poor football, if it's we're conceding 3, 4, 5, 6. Regularly, there's nothing going forward. It's just we're just getting overrun both away and home. I would completely understand, but that's not the case. I think there's been one really bad game, and then other teams just being clinical. I know, hopefully you bring up the graphic that I put in the chat, maybe not that one specific, but in general, just saying how many chances we've had and how many and what the XG is against us and where we should, if you look at it in that way. And of course, football doesn't work like that, but I think that's just a good reminder to see where the team's at and the probability of it becoming a little bit better. As we should not be where we are. So on Jacob's point and saying on how the team hasn't got any worse, if you look at it from that perspective, you can see. But I think at the same time, you've also got to put into perspective, we had championship proven players last year where we don't have that this year. The idea is that we're trying to develop these players to be better than championship players and to have a sell-on value. And that's where we are at the club at the minute. And that's where we were beforehand. That's what we were trying to do beforehand under JDT. It wasn't look where we ended up in the end before Eustace came in. So look, they've gone for this approach again, and it's not a million miles away. That's the thing. It's not a million miles away. There, of course, there's going to be question marks. Even me looking at the result on the Southampton result, I'm thinking, especially after the Sheffield United result, I'm thinking, oof, that's a statement in Ismaël, like you've got to be picking points there, especially 1-0 up as well. And it was looking like there would have been a few eyes looking at Ismaël thinking, is this the right method? Is this what we're going to be doing? So this win's giving a bit of breather. I don't think it's the wrong way about things. I think, look, it's just not worked out so far, which is frustrating any Blackburn fan. No one wants to be near the bottom half of the table in the relegation zone, but you just got to look at the bigger picture. Look, we're not a million miles away. See what we're going to bring in January. I'm not too sure. Ideally, Gade really needs to be, but he's not getting any game time whatsoever. I don't know why he's still here. Unfortunately, I know we were looking for a move for him, but and then we're going to be looking for a striker who again we can develop and try and push on and find that hidden gem, which was the promise. It was the prompt this year, wasn't it? It was, let's go and find some hidden gems that aren't too expensive. You've got championship proven players. They're going to be expensive. The assets are going to either, if you don't buy them cheap, if you don't buy them young, which they're going to be expensive with the young price. They're trying to find hidden gems. They're going to have certain attributes that are strong, and that's why you want to have them, but you're going to develop their areas that are weak. And that's what we're seeing with all the players that we've got. We've got players like Daenerys who's physically not there, but he's really impressed on the past few weeks, I must say. So it is a work in progress. That is what this team is. So yes, it's not it's not a proven championship squad like maybe we had last year, but we've got players who have potential to become better players long term. That's the view that you've got to have on this squad. And I think in a few weeks we could be all sitting here, saying, "Oh, do you know what? We've won 4 or 5 games in a row, and we're all laughing about it, and we're having a great time." Yeah, but of course, the flip side, and we could be still in this lull. And that's football at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think
it's for me, it's a really valid point because it's a proven championship squad that didn't still make the playoffs last season. So whilst we wax lyrical, and the temptation is to do that as to how good we were last season, the harsh reality is we didn't get to the into the playoffs. Now,
I
yes,
would
we
have
had a
built
change
on
of
it.
manager. Well, yeah, I know, but we had a manager that decided to jump ship in a crucial time in February. That was also on the back of a really, really, really bad set of results as well. Ishmael's come in and he's worked with what he's had, sort of thing. So, yeah, I think I agree with everything that Denver said. Really, I think you've put yourself across really, really well there. I think Ishmael will just need a little bit of time. He'll just need to a little bit more time. I think there's been a couple of false economies pre-season, and obviously the Hull and the Watford look at this moment in time to be a bit freakish result, but it's what they've deserved. I think we played well. I'm with you, Dirk. In Ismail we trust. I'm more than happy. Don't get me wrong. Going into the Southampton game, if we'd lost that, I think that would have been my turning point. I didn't expect to get anything from Sheffield United. I would have done if we. I think the confidence was severely knocked going into that Southampton game, and that probably explains the first half why we didn't play that well, why we didn't look as good as what we did against Sheffield United. So I think it's if my head had been turned previously, then I'd probably be in the Jacob camp. I think once you've had it with Ismail, then you've probably had it. I don't think there's no coming back from it. But no, I'm happy with sticking with what we've got. Unproven championship players, but you know what? We didn't get there last season, so why not? Why not spin the wheel and see what we can do? I think there's potential. I don't think we've seen the full potential in a lot of these players, and I think there's still a lot more to come. So I'm going to remain a happy clapper and optimistic.
Well, how about this? I was going to, just to get clarified, I can tell Jacob's, leaning towards out. John T's leaning towards keeping him in there. Denver as well. Holmesy, where are you on all of this?
I think the biggest thing for me is who are we going to get? That's he's on a three-year deal. Now, I suppose. I mean, listen, if we had lost and results, there's still a long way to go. If results go against us, that can change. But for now, I'm just very worried about the potential of what manager we can get and who can come in and actually change things around. Because quite frankly, it's not a case of the problem being the manager. We've had, I mean, since Mowbray left, we've had he's a third manager since Mowbray left. Each one had their own problems. Each one had their own frustrations. And it wasn't frustrations with the players. It wasn't, well, I suppose they did have a go at the fans, a couple of them. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's the board. The board is the problem. I think we've got a structural problem at Blackburn Rovers, and that's what needs to change. It's not the manager. It's the players are going to come and go, and the players aren't going to stay. Listen, we could get into it, and there's probably not enough time. But when you have that many senior players saying they want out the door, that basically comes down to a toxic environment within the team, toxic environment within upper management, toxic environment within the club. You don't get that many settled players saying, I'd rather leave the club on the last day of the transfer window than, I genuinely think Blackburn have got much, much bigger problems that they've got to sort out than Valérien Ismaël.
Right.
And I don't know when those are going to be sorted. I don't know if they're going to be sorted, and I don't know what it's going to take for them to be sorted, short of me winning the US lotto and buying Blackburn.
Yeah, I'll be with you. If I ever win on my side, we'll go in. We'll go in on it.
I do want to just add before we move on, on the topic of players wanted to leave Blackburn. I don't know, but a part of me just feels that's modern day football in the sense of players running down contracts. You see it with Newcastle, with Arsenal, with you just see it everywhere, right? So it's not necessarily just a Blackburn thing. It is just modern footballers
100%.
wanting to get the best deal they can. If just playing a bit devil's advocate, look at all these options I can get. You put a bit more money on my contract and I'll stay. And as Blackburn, we've not got the funds for that. They're most likely going to go, and that I think it's more than anything. And yes, it's been great, but yeah, I think it's not necessarily a Blackburn situation rather than
maybe Denver, but put it this way, it happens at all the other clubs, Newcastle, but at Newcastle, he's going to Liverpool, a Premier League champion, Then you look at Liverpool and you look at Trent. Trent's going to Real Madrid. They're all trying to go at a better club. Our players seem to be saying, we don't give a shit where we go. We'll go to Derby and have a...
I'm sorry, mate. I'm with Denver on this. If you look at every championship club, they've all had that sort of merry-go-round of players. Preston, I know they didn't have a great season last season, and it was a bit of a mixed bag for them with managerial changes and things like that. But I think they lost about 10, 11, 12 players last season. That's just a championship. Players try and better themselves and things like that. Now, you could argue that we've lost some absolute key players, people that bleed blue and white, your Travis, your Buckleys, to a certain extent, Callum Britton sort of thing. But no, I think that's just a championship.
Then we're never going to get anywhere there, though, John T. Then the clubs, what's the point of fucking football then? Then all the players are just going to go, and we're going to say, well, it's okay. Players are just going to go. That's the nature of football. But in order to get to promotion, you've got to keep those players. So otherwise, we're just in a...
But that's your mistake. That's your mistake, Holmesy. You're thinking about aspirations to do better. The players are thinking about the money, mate. They're thinking about the money.
That.
They're thinking about the contract, the money, the financial situation, and what have you. So you're Travis moving from Blackburn to Derby. Derby's not an aspirational club for Lewis Travis. That's had blue and white bled into his veins for since I was going to say
if we offered Travis the money, he would have stayed.
Yeah, exactly that. So, I think every championship club will have to accept that good players will come, good players will go. They'll also get rid of a load of shit, hoping for that, just a rough diamond to suddenly appear from somewhere that there's potential in there, like Brereton Diaz. Me personally, never a big fan of him. I know this is going to get a lot of criticism. He scored a lot of goals in
1 year. No, 6 months. 6 months.
Well, I was going to say 3 fluky months. They came off his backside and he claimed them and things like that. I was just, could he score goals? He could in that particular little window, but for me, it was like we were playing with 10 men for so much of the time. But anyway, we're not on about Brereton Diaz, but these players go all around. And for me, it's not about the club. It used to be, back in the day when I was a lad and all that, but unfortunately it's not anymore. It's all about the agents, who can get the better long-term contracts, and if they leave the club, what does that mean? Unfortunately, that's just a situation in football, and that is comparable to the Premier League, but not as comparable to the Premier League.
I would say, because of it being in the Championship, you will get your sideways moves, especially with players like Travis who are in their primes. You've got some players at the end of their careers, your Weimans, your Bats. They're not looking to move into the Premier League. Ideally, they would love to, but there's no one looking up there for these kind of players. You are looking for your sideways moves when you're in the Championship and so on. So I think, I think enough said on that.
Do you not see, if Rovers offered the same as Derby for Travis, and despite all the craziness going on with Blackburn Rovers, he would have still gone to Derby?
I think Eustace is a big pulling point. I think if Eustace is at Blackburn and they offer the contract, he stays 100%. But I think the Eustace effect, how much he loved Eustace, and the outpouring of how much he respects him after he left Blackburn or whatever. I think, of course, that's why I think I'm sure he had other options. I'm sure it wasn't just Derby County who offered him something. I'm sure.
I think it was timing. It was timing. Yeah. If you rewind on the Travis situation, JDT, who is shit, confirmed by Sweden, right? JDT, sorry, did I say that out loud? But JDT that fell out with him and what have you. So that was his situation. So forget Rovers for a second. That was almost a personality clash between JDT and Travis. Travis went out to Ipswich. He came back in, used his son, put his arm around him, loved him, and that's just where Travis's head was at the time when when there was I wouldn't say disarray at Rovers, but when there was opportunity for other players, for other clubs to come in for some of our players. So it's an opportunist thief, is Derby, in my opinion. But I mean, I see a lot of our ex-Rovers players are not featuring week in, week out. I know there's a couple of injuries, so before anyone shoots me down in the comments, yes, there has been a few injuries in there, including Travis, actually. But, these guys are not starting, and that to me cements in my mind that these were not sort of like, promotion playoff pushing players who were just steady away.
Yeah. Yes. Is there a scenario that could play out that Big Val is not in charge of Rovers in 2026 and the return of the Messiah, Tony Mowbray, happens at Blackburn Rovers, even if just for a 6-month caretaker bit to the end of the campaign? Who hasn't said a piece? Denver.
I mean, you've been blabbering on.
He has been, but maybe just to get some calm flow to this podcast here. Just get
on the bench. Is that what you're looking for, Dirk?
Just get a bit of Denver in here, just to calm things down a little bit.
So I can't see it. I think. Look, I see the appeal, but if you're Tony Mowbray again, remember it was always a trek for him. I know maybe 6 months it might be a thing, but I don't know. It might be enticing for him for a few, but like at the end of the day, I don't think that's the aims of Blackburn Rovers. We're looking at a project, right? The board are looking for a sustainable thing over a period of time, bringing developing players. If you're bringing in Mowbray for a 6-month period, you're not doing that, right? So if the board were going to let Ismaël go, there would be someone already in. Well, you'd have 5 or 6 potential people who you think are right for the club. You think that will take on the academy and maybe bring through players through. And you'll poach a few nobodies from a few different leagues. I think that's the road they want to go down. Mowbray, yes, I think he did do that in some degree, but I think he will look for. I don't know. It's one of them where managers come back. I don't know. I mean, sometimes they do. Look at David Moyes and West Ham and so on and so forth. But I don't know. I couldn't see it happen. I can't see the board returning to Tony Mowbray. I think Tony Mowbray was a thing when we were really down in the dumps that season, League One football, and we give him the opportunity in the Championship, and I think the road was run. So yeah, I don't think so. That's my answer.
Jacob, what do you think?
I think we could do a lot worse than Tony Mowbray if we kind of carry on the way this season's been going. I'm not sure what Val's win percentage is now, but it is worth bearing in mind that before that Southampton win, I think it were going round that his win percentage was worse than Steve Keane and Owen Coyle's. So I've not got high hopes, I'll be honest. I'm hoping it's a catalyst, but I think, they'll give him like they did with Coyle and whatnot, and they did with JDT. I think they'll give him the January window. Things don't turn around. I think there's a potentiality that we have to pull the trigger in February if we are in that bottom 3 or whatnot. And
Jacob, you're the man with all the big decisions, and you've now got a decision to make tomorrow on Ismaël. Would you pull the trigger on him? Yes or no?
Yeah, I would, because the win percentage just isn't good enough. He's been here 20 odd games now, and like I said before, I don't see a style of football, and
really?
I don't see the results either. I'll be honest. And like I said, I don't think he's conducting himself in a professional manner, and he's definitely not got the majority of the fan base on side.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, at the same time, I don't think most fans would be, if you're in the bottom 3, most fans are not going to be on the side of the manager. So I think that's food for thought. Go on, Jonty. What were you going to say?
I don't know, mate. I was rapping. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I'm like I was saying before. I mean, 90% of the time he's been here, he's not had the fans on side. The results haven't really been there. He had, 4 wins at the end of last season. He's had a couple away wins, and obviously the home result this season, it's not been good enough. And I
Who
think
would you want? Who would you want?
I genuinely would.
Let me caveat that with realistically.
I genuinely would bring Mowbray back. If he was interested, I would bring Mowbray back to steady the ship. That's exactly what he did, when he came in last time, and he turned us back into a solid championship team. He's obviously gone on to make the playoffs since with Sunderland. We could do a hell of a lot worse.
Mowbray says thanks, but no thanks, and you've already got rid of Ismaël. Then who?
Well, this is the thing. You'd obviously wouldn't get rid of Ismaël until you've got someone lined up. I mean, I don't even know. Maybe I wouldn't say no to maybe a Russell Martin. He's just been sacked at Rangers.
Lost me there. Lost me with Russell Martin.
No, I think we could do a lot worse than maybe a Russell Martin. Obviously there's other managers out there. It's not something I've really thought about that much because I know full well he's not getting sacked anytime soon. We will not pull the trigger unless it's February at the earliest, and it's looking like we're going to go down. And they do like they did with Kyle. They got rid of him around that time. They made JDT walk around that time. So obviously they brought Eustace in to steady the ship, and it worked. He stayed us up, and we stayed up rather. And obviously we were looking good last season under him until the end. So I think it'll be a similar sort of thing.
No, I think, to be fair, up until the Southampton game, if the Southampton result had gone against us, then I would probably be scratching my head thinking, I don't think Ismaël's for me. You can't judge anybody on, the first 2 or 3 games. I've always said, give them 10, 11, 12 games.
He's had 20 odd now, John, and his win percentage is dire.
No. I'm talking this season, mate. I don't subscribe to all the preseason stuff as well. That was not his squad. It was not his style of football and things like that. So I can forgive him for that. I'll always start with a clean slate and then go forward. So I'll always judge somebody on 10, 11 games into that. And I think, like I say, where my sentiments are now. If we'd lost against Southampton. And it's not necessarily Southampton, but if we'd lost in the manner against Will Still, is that his name? Will Still?
Then he's still there.
I wouldn't have been happy with that, to be fair. I would be probably more leaning towards your camp on that one. I've just seen a preview of what's coming up on screen share. That's pretty off-putting, to be fair.
Well, hey, let's change the mood a little bit. It's the week to be spooky, and I thought I'd chuck in a bit of
that for sure.
Well, Rovers are giving us all nightmares right now. But on the screen now, you're going to see something spooky. Not me, not Jonty, but this guy,
Jacob.
No. So underneath this pumpkin is a face. It's. I've got 5 of these.
Jordan Rhodes.
Say again.
That's a Jordan Rhodes.
No. Slow down.
Slow
your roll here. So there's the catch here. So this is spooky season. So behind this is a player that has done the most despicable thing ever in football, and that is play for Blackburn Rovers and them 6-fingered banjo playing weirdos. Once I click the button, that pumpkin will slowly dissolve, and you've got whoever wants to scream it out in their best Halloween scream ever, who that person is.
The
Michael
kit, is that the era?
Michael Keane was a bit after.
I don't know. What it is the era of whatever shirt they're wearing. Yes,
it was the 20.
I'm going to click it right now because you are talking, and I want to get this starting. Hopefully, it's dissolving. I don't want to click it again and then it's not dissolving. And
it should have been a ghost there. If it was a ghost, it'd make sense, it fading out.
It's dissolving. It's dissolving. I can see. So get your guesses in.
It's a defender. It's a defender, 100% nailed on. Central defender. I can see him. It's not Michael Keane.
No, it's not. Who the hell was that?
What's his name? Begins with D.
Oh, it's Del Fonso.
I got it right.
Nathaniel Delfonso.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, Blackpool. They loved him there.
But Oh, is it
He
any?
played for Burnley.
He also played for Burnley. He was on Burnley's
he?
books.
Did he?
Before?
Oh.
Yeah, Google.
Well, it wouldn't have been after us. It would have been before.
Yeah, it's probably when they were shit.
What do you mean? They still at work, chicken?
Did I get that, Dirk? Is it 1-0 to me?
I don't know.
No, I thought it was me.
It's all good fun. Yeah, he was
I
on
won the quiz last time. Remember? I'm
Not this time.
current champion.
He was
I
on
told
loan
you,
for...
central defender. That's where he played, wasn't it? Central defence, was it?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
shocking.
not up front. You would have
You'd
thought.
think so with his with how many he scored for
With
us.
his stats. Yeah.
Well, I got another one for you, lined up right here, right now. Hopefully, where is my mouse? There we go. Again, the pumpkin. Again, the dreaded played for Blackburn Rovers and Burnley. Who is he? We hopefully should
And
be the way.
Burnley.
Yep.
Gordon Greer.
He's got the ball in his hand. Tommy Spur.
Nope.
He didn't play for Burnley.
He didn't play for Burnley, did he? No,
Yeah.
he didn't play for Burnley.
Preston, weren't he?
This one's a favourite of everybody's.
Why was
Yeah.
he counting the fingers?
Duffy.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
When the hell? When?
Duffy with Diaz with a beard. But that's too early, isn't it?
That would have been one of those last games, surely, when he
Yeah.
did his little.
Did you see his little outburst with the Norwich fans? Like something like that.
Yeah.
He was critiquing somebody, or somebody was giving him what for, or whatever. And yeah, they're having a field day right now, the Canaries.
To be fair, that's a nice strip. That's a really nice strip, isn't it? I like that one.
Yeah, it was. It was
So
the first one.
my aim here was to have a picture of them both in their Rovers and their Burnley, but it's hard to find some of these guys in the Burnley because they've only played for them a little bit. Anyway, next up, we got another one.
That's a throwback. I don't think we
Throwback, maybe.
Me and Devon might as well set this one out.
Look at you, John T.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So that looks like the 94-95 season top. So I'm just trying to think as
Just
to
making it earlier.
Damien Duff? No, earlier than that.
92?
92, 93, or 93, 94.
Looks
David
like
May.
Alexander Haven.
David May.
David May, it is. Well
It
done.
does look like Haven a little bit, doesn't it?
Get the beard in, and then there you go.
Get the beard.
What
Lose
a player he was. But I didn't, because he left Rovers, went to Man United, didn't he?
He did, but he left before we won the title. I think he got one. I don't know how many he got from Man United, but
He did well. He did well at Man United. But when did he play for Burnley?
at the end of his career, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let me bring up the numbers here. Oh, I just put David Burnley in. That doesn't make sense.
So when he was in a wheelchair, and
he played 35 games for Burnley after United.
Did he? Oh,
yeah.
It's just gone down in my estimation.
He's not that good of a player, was he? That's why we let him go before we won the league, wasn't it?
Yeah, two more left. Who we got here? There we go. Rolling. We're rolling. This is another cracker.
Trust.
Huh?
Vince's Trust sponsor.
Yeah,
What, 2011, 2012?
2012, wasn't it? Yeah. Right. Don't reveal.
Gordon Greer. No, not God. So it was Orr.
Reed.
Bradley Orr.
Yeah, look at
Yep.
you. Denver's cooking.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, Bradley Orr.
He was
Right
shit.
back, weren't he?
Yeah, he was not.
Left back in the changing room, more like. He was shit. Oh,
He
my.
was.
Look at that face.
What a face.
Only a mother could love that one.
It's a little bit like a Phil Jones kind of pose, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, well, one more, wrapping this baby up.
Oof.
There we go. Hopefully it's just
You don't put Craig Bellamy in there just because he was coaching the staff.
No. There was quite a long list, but a lot of players that had barely featured for Rovers. Oh yeah, who's this guy? Got a shot on him. Stephen Reed, Denver.
Yeah.
You've got my notes, man.
Did you hear me before about 2 or 3 one before I went Reed? I did say Reed. I knew that he played for Burnley, so I was just kind of just getting it in there. But there's not many.
Come on, Jake. I
played for
thought you'd be
Balls.
more competition there, mate.
Well, let's do Halloween-ness for now. I have another cracking Halloween thing coming in a little minute, but we will switch over to a bit of injury crap, and that is
I didn't have Paul Robinson, Dirk. Sorry, Judas.
yeah.
Good
Wasn't all
call.
of it.
Good call.
Yeah,
Michael Keane.
I think I looked at that and was going to bring them on, but the news broke earlier or shortly. When did it break? Before the game. Cargbo out for 3 months, 12 weeks. Is it going to be? Is that something we're going to miss, John?
No.
Are you asking?
Jonty, you go first. Well, you know, you're.
No, I mean, I wax lyrical about the guy when he first joined us. He was like a breath of fresh air. I think I even likened him to somebody like Scott Sellers, where he's got pace, he's got really close control, and I was excited to see more of him. But no, unfortunately for me, he's not quite done it recently. Every time he's come on, he's not had the same impact. I think there's potential there. I really, really do. I'm going to stick by my guns and say that I think he can do well. Is he a big miss at this moment in time? No. I think Cantwell's the bigger miss out of everybody. So, you know, I'd much prefer to have him on the bench and what have you. Well, maybe even starting, because there's a couple of players which I'm sure we're going to come to soon that, unfortunately, whilst I had really high hopes for them and, you know, justification pre-season and some of the early games, look really, really good. But no, Cargbo has been a little bit of a disappointment. He's a little bit hit and miss for me. He's got some pace, but he's just, for me, I guess to summarise, he's lacking confidence. He's got a ton of ability. He's got a ton of speed. He just needs to believe in himself. He needs to back himself. And the minute he starts backing himself, I think we've got a player there.
Yeah, David, do you agree? I think that could be said for a lot of players at Rovers lacking confidence right now. But, you know, he did score not too long ago, if my memory serves me, right? He did.
Yeah. Guys first.
He got Stoke on it, and it was sad to see him not celebrate because of all the abuse he got.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bit. I remember being like, you don't want players being like that, do you? You want them to enjoy scoring and being a part of the club. And when he didn't do that, it was like, you know, it's not a great sign. But no, I do agree with John C. It's just, but then at the same time, it's the reason why it's a lot of players like this is because this is why we signed them. This is why they've been on the cheap, because there are these things in their games that are missing. This is why they're not already at your top clubs or on the fringes. You know, they are. We'll sell him for cheap because he doesn't have this. And what our job is now as Blackburn Rovers is to develop these areas to make them into good players. The potential's there. And with Cargbo, it's just decision making. It's just knowing when to use his pace, when to, you know, take his little touches, because he'll just do the wrong thing at the wrong time and we'll lose the ball. You know, he'll take a shot when he isn't supposed to take a shot. He'll try and take a player on when the player's ready to make the run. He'll try and dribble it when there's 3-4 bodies there and it's not come off, you know. But as soon as that, we get that, everything else around him, he'll be a quality player, and I do hope he comes good. But like I said, confidence is key. He didn't, you know, all the abuse that he got for that is like, look, players are going to make mistakes. Yes, he didn't track back his run for that goal that we conceded, but you know, Cine Tavares, he lost the ball initially. It was like I think it was a poor pass, wasn't it, from the corner? That's what conceded. I can't remember what game it was. Swansea, I think. But yeah, when he scored that goal and didn't celebrate, really like that can't be. As fans, you can't have our players not enjoying playing for the shirt, you know. So we have a player there. Just got to give him time, along with the others who we've signed these players. Hopefully, we can develop these areas. And they're not all going to be, you know, they're not all going to work. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of it. But this is the gamble we've taken. We're going to sign these players on the cheap and try and develop them. And hopefully, Cargbo's one of them. Well, I think because when he came on that first time against Wolves and he was causing havoc down that wing, you know, he was the shining light in that game. We had Dennis on and stuff like that who didn't do much, but we had Cargbo and he looked like he was causing problems for Wolves, you know, and that's a Premier League outfit. I know they're not doing well at the minute, but you know, we have a player there. We just need to fine tune him, and hopefully we'll get them all singing on the same hymn sheet.
Yeah. Do you think that on that note, do you think Tyrese Dolan's kicking himself for leaving Rovers? Because as far as I'm aware, he's
no chance.
Well, he's played one game, hasn't he? For
Espanyol. No, they're flying high. Espanyol are top 5 in La Liga.
Yeah. And he's playing well, and the fans are loving him. And
he's not missing us, Jonathan.
He's like, Blackburn who?
Like, what? Is he playing every game then?
Yeah.
He's playing.
Really?
Yeah. He's doing well. So, yeah, he's not. He's in the sunshine in Spain. He's not. I don't think he's going. You know what? I want
I
to be
was,
in that relegation battle in the
yeah,
Champions.
no, I was more about the football than the actual weather because
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of places I prefer to be. But no, I've been given misinformation because somebody that I spoke to the other day, Sheffield United game, they're like saying Tyrese Dolan is not even starting at Espanyol. But no, I've not followed it, so I'll stand corrected. But no, that was just misinformation. But,
So with Cogba being out for 12 weeks, who's the biggest benefactor in that? Do you see, Jacob?
Um,
Like if he was starting on the left hand side, maybe, or
Yeah.
well, he wasn't though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He were getting brought on up front in his last appearance, weren't he, Dirk?
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, I think he started the season quite well, but he just completely fell off. I think whenever he had started this season, he underwhelmed, and I think that's what I'd just say overall with his time with us. Unfortunately, he's had spells, but I think unfortunately he's been underwhelming. He's got the pace there, but I think in terms of people who are benefiting from his injury, I don't know. Like I said, he wasn't exactly knocking on the door to get into the team, in my opinion. I think it was against Swansea, Denver. When you're not running back, when he's got the pace he has to win the ball back after you've lost it, it's unacceptable. Just strolling back. I don't even think he was strolling. I think just stood there basically and just watched it go in. You can't have that, and I think that might be something to do with the reason why Sydney's been dropped as well. Because I think there was at fault for that, and then there was it Stoke maybe he was at fault as well for a corner, then we ended up conceding from something like that, and you can't be doing that at this level, tucking away points. So I think if you're looking at the players, obviously Denev's managed to get into the team, so I think Deneve
Really
he would have been below Cardbo in the pecking order at the start of the season, but he's managed to get in and he's doing well at the minute. I think fans were turned on Ishmael after he got subbed off the other night. They weren't happy about that because he had done really well. But then again, I thought Hedges come on, to be fair, and did really well as well. So he looks a different player under Valley. He's one of few players who've actually improved under Val so far. Hedges, I thought he was brilliant when he come on.
yeah,
And then
agreed. And I think
I
I
guess
think
you'd say
that's
Morishita as well kind of benefits a little, but I don't know where I am with him at the minute.
I
Sorry,
think it's
Jonathan.
ironic that a load of Rovers fans were singing "You don't know what you're doing" at 1-0 down, brings on a couple of subs, and we end up winning 2-1, sort of thing. So that's more testament to the managers than it is to the actual players, sort of thing. Morishita, yeah, I'm lost with that guy. Unfortunately, I think. Yeah, I think he's really, really struggling in this league. Really struggling. Maybe Dirk, stop me if we've not got to that bit yet. But yeah, I'm and Yuki to a certain extent. Yuki against Sheffield United. Out of all the players, every single player on the pitch wearing a Blackburn Rovers shirt, for me, he was the least deserving player to score. Everybody else had put a really, really good shift in during the first half, playing pretty decent football. And Yuki, and it pains me to say it, I take no pleasure in saying this, struggled the most, and yet he got the goal out of it. And yet your other man, Good Johnson, I thought he deserved that goal, or to score it, sort of thing that would have got him off the mark. So maybe I've peaked too soon, story of my life, but yes.
Not necessarily, not necessarily. Holmesy, where's your mind at with Cogbo here? We're going to move on to a handful of players. I've only got a handful of players in a second, but if we were to grade Cogbo's season, I know it's a short season so far, out of 10, what would you give him?
5. He's just been, they're almost there, backwards again. I think a 5. And I mean, in fairness to all of the players, there's not many that are getting over 6 or 7. But yeah, I think 5. He's hasn't really shone not many players have shone really. So it's just been one of those. He's still got a lot to prove in a Blackburn Rovers shirt, I think, and I hope he can because we need a squad. It's a long season. Gonna need people firing at different times. So I hope he can fulfill his potential. But I think really, really up till this point, average.
Yeah. He's not really, and again, he's been here the longest. That's when you look at some of these other new signings and out of all that. But yeah, Jonty's been. He put a flea in my ear earlier today to kind of maybe have a chat about some players. He didn't give me a list of who, so I've cherry picked 4, only 4. We are tight on time because I want to get to my amazing Halloween little bonanza here, which is going to be a hoot. But 4 players, and there's 4 of you, so we're just gonna get one opinion, unless you feel very passionate about it, then you can. So I'm gonna go in this order. I'm gonna rejig. There I am on the left. Jonty, you're gonna go first. Oh, I don't really like this way, but we're gonna have to do it anyway. So the first name, and Jonty, this is your take on Blas Toff.
I'm warming to him. Yeah, I think he's been really, really solid for us. I think we play I was going to say dangerously high line. It's just Ismail's way of football. There's always going to be pressure on the back three. There's always therefore going to be one-on-ones with the keeper. I think he stood up for the test. So no, I quite like pairs, to be fair. So when Toth came in, it kind of rubbed me up the wrong way. But no, I'm all right with him. I think he's there's a mistake in him every game, but I'm comfortable with him. I don't. It doesn't put the fear of God up me when I see his name on the team sheet, which with some Blackburn Rovers goalkeepers, I think to be fair, we've been probably pretty blessed with keepers in the past, but there's been a few howlers in and amongst all that. Christian Walton springs to mind. I was never a big fan of his, but
Jason Steele also.
yeah, all right, chill out. You're making me look big now, but
We don't need to do that.
but no, Toff, I'm all right with. I've made peace with him. I think he's a 7.5, 8 out of 10 in most games. So no, I will settle with that. Is he the best goalkeeper in the championship? No, I don't personally believe so. That guy at Stoke is just immense. But no, I think he's up there in the top, certainly top 7 or 8 for me. Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Jacob, and you get Gardner Hickman.
Oh, interesting one.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. I feel like there's mixed opinions about this guy. I feel like on Twitter, I think a lot of people are quite happy with him, waxing lyrical. But then in the stands, there's been a couple games where people have been getting on his back around me. So I'll give you my opinion. My opinion on him is I think he's a steady Eddie. I think obviously he's versatile in terms of where he can play. He played that away game, was it Charlton? He got moved to right back, I think. He wasn't great there. I wouldn't like to see him there again, I'll be honest. But I think in midfield, I think he's been decent. He's definitely got the vision and kind of can pick a pass over the top. I've seen that more than a few times. That's something Sondre really struggles with, and it's not something Travis weren't as bad as Sondre is with it, but I think this guy's definitely can pass the ball about a bit better than Travis can and find those runs in behind down the wings and whatnot. And yeah, as I said, Sondre is very limited with that. I feel like Sondre tries that, it just doesn't come off, or it hits the man or something like that. He's not exactly that mobile. He's not as much of a battler as Travis was and is. But I mean, he showed the other day, didn't he, when he had that guy in a headlock and took him off the pitch, and then he had three of the Southampton men. Or was it Sheffield United? I can't remember now. Yeah, I had 3 of the men running up to him in his face. He weren't fazed by it. So I rate stuff like that, and I think he's been solid. And At this moment in time, obviously he's on loan, isn't he? If you offered me in the summer, I'm not sure if if he comes on a free or it'd have to be a fee, but I'd definitely be interested in him. I think obviously we've got Baraji hopefully to come. I don't know when, but this guy's meant to be brilliant. Obviously Sunderland will link with him and other clubs. I think Gardner Hickman moving forwards will be more of a rotational player and more of a squad player. But I think he's doing all right at the minute, and he's doing a lot better than Sydney was, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we saw Sydney at Hull, didn't we? Me and Denver, we were creaming over him, I think, for want of a better expression. But I'm glad that you got Taylor, Hickman, Gardner, whatever his name is. He's kind of got 3 surnames all in one, hasn't he? But yeah, I'm absolute. I'm a Denver on this one. I'm so sat on the fence. Yes, he'll play that amazing ball over the top of the whole of the midfield and what have you. And I think this is probably the player we'll debate the most, Dirk. So if you don't mind, just spend a couple of moments on this because I'm torn with this guy. Up until probably a couple of games ago, I thought, you know what, he's relatively solid, but he's just not got the class or the quality to take us to that next level. But yeah, I'm there's part of me that's struggling with this guy. I want to like him, but I just think that we can do a little bit better. I think there's somebody else that will bring something different. So there's something missing from his game, and I can't put my finger on it. I guess it's the best way to surmise
I'll
it.
pick up on the Sydney point. I think it doesn't surprise me in a way that Sydney did well at Hull because obviously we were so dominant that game, and I don't think Hull were at the races at all. And to me, Sydney seems that type of player where he's got time on the ball, he can knock it about and stroll about. But when you're, losing a game or whatever, and you want a battler in midfield, Sydney just isn't that for me.
That's why.
And I think that's why he's been dropped because we're just not getting the results at the minute, and you can't afford a player like that in midfield.
Also, go on, Dirk.
I was going to say one thing about Taylor Gardner Hickman that I spotted and I like is that he's playing like a player that he belongs with Blackburn Rovers. He's showing passion to chase balls back, and I don't, I see a lot like the Cargbos of the world, a lot of players not showing that tenacity to make amends for a mistake or just throw like kind of. I know we gave a lot of flack to Sam Gallagher. Sam Gallagher used to run his arse off. But
all we're good for.
I know that it was terrible, but no, I love that about Taylor Gardner Hickman. I think it's
he's a grafter.
A grafter. He does.
And that's why he's in the squad, isn't he? Ultimately, and that's why Sydney Varas is on the bench because he's not
even on the bench at the minute.
I know. Yeah, he's just a little bit too, just doesn't like, he looks for that perfect ball, which at some point will come. I think also that ball, it doesn't lead to anything as well at the minute, right? Where it was coming off beautifully against Hull. Recent games, we're not putting some of these chances away, so you're not seeing the benefits of his fruit really. And then going the other way, he just gets beaten. The ball I remember I think even Hull or somewhere just saying how many times he lost the ball because and that's what Gardner Hickman gives you. He just gives you that bit more solid and a bit of stability, and he can play that ball. And then Tronstad's your backstopper almost. So that's why. And it was almost a blessing in disguise really, because the game he came in, wasn't it? It was because Sydney got injured in the warm up. What game was that? I was there for that one. I can't remember. And then he ended up playing really well. Yeah, I think it was Ipswich. Yeah, Ipswich game. And he come in and played really well. So yeah, he's just at the minute he's a safer pick than Sydney is. If hopefully Sydney can develop, and then if Sydney has that in his game, I can't see why Sydney doesn't get back in the squad, because I think that other half of the game is it's huge. Picking that pass, finding that ball, but it's just the other stuff in this game that lets him down at the minute. And I don't know what's happening with the rest of our midfielders, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Denver, you're not afraid of the microphone, so this is your guy. It is Ryan Alabiosu.
Oh, beautiful.
That's what I was hoping. Well, actually, Jacob, the last one you might have a field day with is again.
Really?
Yeah.
See, for me, he's doing really well. He is doing really well. I remember everyone waxing lyrical about him at literally 3-4 games in, and I was a little bit, skeptical in terms. I think he's a cracking player, but again, along with all our other signings, there's always something. There's always something that's not quite, there. And I still think his decision making is still a question mark in some instances. So I think sometimes he'll have a heavy touch. He'll make the wrong run at the wrong time, similar to Carver. I remember when them two were both on that side, and they were both doing it. It was frustrating the hell out of me. But of course, the difference is, of course, Ryan Obias is coming back and winning the ball, and then sometimes his pace, he gets away with it. He puts in, and then he scores, albeit a lucky goal on Saturday. But he's getting the rub of the green. He's getting those chances. My only worry is when that isn't working, and then he's making the wrong decision on the ball, and it becomes a really frustrating figure. At the minute, he's not, so I'm not going to say any more on that. He's doing really well, and yeah, he's honestly, it was big shoes to fill. He comes straight in after Callum Britton went, and he's done really well considering all that pressure that was put on him. So.
Agreed. And I agree with what Jacob said before. Unfortunately, Saturday was the worst game I've seen him, but it wasn't that bad, in context. So no, I'm delighted with him. I think he's one hell of a player. He's not frightened as would say. He can play a ball into the box, and you know what, that goal on Saturday where you say it was a lucky goal. Well, you know what, he's been pinging them in on his right foot, trying to get somebody up for a header. So he's just tried something different, play a low and hard crossing, and it's evaded everybody and it's gone in. So you know what, out of all the players in the Rovers team, for me, he absolutely thoroughly deserves that goal. And yeah, I jumped off my seat, not because of the goal, but because he absolutely deserved that goal for everything he's put into the club for the last 10, 11 games. He's been immense, and like exactly what you said, Denver, to fill those very, very large boots, that void that Callum Britton has left, and for me, underpinned how important that right back position is, how that can be a complete game changer, where you think that actually, you know what, the right back position isn't that important. Well, Callum Britton proved it was, and for this Ryan to come back in is just immense. I'm chuffed to bits with him. He's my blue-eyed boy. He's a star. He's absolutely brilliant. I love everything about him as it stands.
I'll just quickly say that I've not missed Britton at all, which I'm shocked about, because I rated Callum Britton so highly. Thought he was one of our best players last season. I think Albiasu could be the player of the season so far, and I think there's a very good chance he's player of the season come the end of it. It's definitely between him and Todd Cantwell. And I think he's a man who I think we'll see big money for, not next summer, probably summer after. I think he'll stay for a couple of years and then we'll move him on. I think he's still relatively young and he's English and he's class. Let's hit the ground running.
All right. From your player this season to my player this season, not really, Scott Wharton.
Scott Wharton. Similar hairstyle to Jacob, did you say?
Yeah, well, Jacob's got his own opinion about Scotty, so we'll probably hear that in a minute.
Oh,
Holmesy,
I mean, he's the worst player in his family.
Oh, I don't know. His other brother, Annie. He's got another brother who's not done.
Does he?
Yeah, his grandma's pretty shit. To be fair, it's I saw his grandma. She's horrendous. She came straight out of a coffee morning, straight into that. Actually, she was better than Scott.
Fun fact, Jonty, my grandma actually knows their grandparents, and they always chat all the time. So. It's funny you should say that about his grandma, because my grandma knows me all the time. So
well, it's a sign of the age, isn't it? Because it's actually my mum knows his mum pretty well.
There you go.
And they speak in the coffee morning. So whilst I said that in jest, it was actually a bit of truth in all of that. So, but it's just ironic that you say your grandma and I say my mum, but that's the age. Introduce your dog first, Holmesy, because
sorry. This is little Ellie.
ED.
Cute little Labradoodle, toy Labradoodle, newest Blackburn Rovers supporter.
Yeah,
and she's coming to. I'm not in bed yet.
We're getting
It
there.
is like 10 here in South Africa. But yeah, let's get on to Scotty Wharton. I think there's always been a lot of passion in Scott Wharton. He's Blackburn through and through. I don't quite know if he's ever fulfilled his potential. Had a couple of injuries, and I don't think he's come back from them as strongly as he would have liked, we would have liked. I think we still got a hole in the back four from the loss of Hyam. I don't think he's managed to fill it, but listen, there's a good footballer in there. There's a good centre back, so I hope he comes right. But haven't been as impressed as I would have liked with him this season so far.
Yeah. Well, I guess you want my opinion, Dirk, so I'll give it. I think unfortunately, I agree with Holmesy. He's Rovers through and through. There's no reason like he had the armbands for Southampton. I have no problem with that. He's a leader and he'll leave everything on that pitch, but I just don't think he's got the quality. I was watching that Coventry game we and obviously, Coventry are a brilliant side, but we're just making so many silly mistakes that game. And he does have a mistake in his locker. And another thing, and it got said the other day, he can't pass a bloody ball, which is a stark contrast to his brother. So I don't know what happened there, but he struggles with that side of the game. He's quite one dimensional. I think obviously that's why under John Dahl he just didn't get in the team at all because he doesn't have that in his locker. And it's very hard for someone to come in and fill that Dom Hyam sized hall when Hyam played every single minute last season. But obviously, that's not going to be Scott Wharton. He's inevitably going to get injured this year. I think we're all waiting for that. And obviously, when that happens, it'll be interesting to see what does happen because at the minute we've got we've got 3 centre halves right now. We're waiting for Carter to come back, but when 2 of your centre halves are so injury prone, it's quite worrying for the season.
Would you give Iridian a chance if he comes back? Because I remember people raving about him when he was like Crew, like how good he was, and then he's just not
been
really
good at Doncaster apparently. Yeah.
So I'm like, there's a cheap alternative there. If fingers crossed it comes good, but is he going to be given a chance? It's one of them, isn't it?
I think it depends where we are in January, doesn't it? If Carter and Wharton are out, then we might have no choice but to recall him. I wouldn't mind it. Apparently, he's been quite good at Doncaster. But then the other side of things is, do you leave him there when he's doing well? You don't want to unsettle him and chuck him into the deep end. To be honest, I think we do need to definitely buy another centre half in January, no matter what. I think you've got Miller playing centre half who. I'm not convinced at centre half. I'll be honest. I think we need another.
What about Miller as a back 3? Are you happy with that? You miserable git.
Whoa, Johnson.
Well, he's going to slag off Lewis Miller, who I was going to say is super impressive. But,
yeah, I love Lewis Miller.
I'm only joking. Are you? No, I'm genuinely interested in your opinion. I agree with Scott Wharton. I think he's full blooded. He's blue and white. His distribution's horrendous, isn't it? He tries to do the right thing. God loves a trier, and this is why we love him. But I think his name and his reputation and his brother goes before him. So I think instantly opposition championship players try to put a bit of pressure on him. But anyway, where were we? Lewis Miller. Dirk, am I jumping the gun? Is he up next? Or
No, that was it. But I like Lewis Miller. I like the soccer route.
I do. So go on, Jacob, mate. Go on.
No, I don't know with Miller. I think in the back 3 it probably does accommodate him a bit more. But I think in Southampton in particular, there was people waxing lyricals about him online afterwards. But in my opinion, I thought he was a bit rash at times. I thought he was jumping into too many tackles. There was one point where he dived in and he just got completely skinned by the player.
He will do. He will do. You've got to accept that. But I think for all the couple of things that he does wrong, he does 8 things right. I think is kind of the
Well,
polar
I
opposite
tell you
sometimes.
one thing he doesn't do right, Johnsy, is a bloody long throw-in. I mean, we need to stop with those.
That's
mean,
detail. That's
I-
detail, Jacob. Don't worry about that, mate. That'll come. One step at a time.
Yeah.
no,
I
I don't know how many long throw-ins he's done now, but they don't beat the first man every time. We just need to give up, in my opinion, with that.
scored one. Didn't score one. Well, in the cup. Hey,
No,
I think
didn't say that.
causing chaos in the box is never a bad thing. I know we haven't scored from it, but we haven't. But no, with Miller, I would agree with he goes in challenges a little bit too happy. There's a few times I've gone.
A loose cannon is
But I'm
how
like,
I would.
one day it's gonna give away a penalty, and you'll be like,
He's already out given one of them as well, by the way.
Yeah, we have.
yeah, he has also given one of them. But like, what was it? What game was it? Where he took someone out and the ref didn't give it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be one where he's gonna do it. You're gonna be like how many chances now? But other than that, the potential of him giving away silly penalties, I'm quite happy with him.
I think
other than the fact he's a liability, he's fine.
I think there's a player in there.
All the players a little bit of a liability. I don't know.
I think we'll
I think
get
he's
the
more
better
of a
out of
right
him.
back for me.
No, I like him, and work in progress. He'll be a diamond eventually.
Yeah, and Dirk, are you that is it Henriksen or somebody like that? Does he feature on this?
No.
Okay.
We're moving on because I don't want to do all of them. We'll save them for the next.
No, but can we just have a quick discussion? Because I'm here to Blackburn Rovers Steve's first. I'm happy to be stood corrected because honestly, I saw Henriksen as a headless chicken against Bradford City. I mean, if that was a standard. I mean, to be fair, Bradford City are flying and fair play to them and good luck to them. But honestly, I could not see how Henriksen could ever make this first team. But I've been quietly impressed with the guy. Maybe that's just managing expectations, but when he's come on, or even when he started the other week, I was like, I quite like this guy. Yeah. So no, listen, I'm going to stand corrected, and I would do if Gay was starting, a lot of these games as well. No, that wasn't a dig. We'll move on.
No, I agree with you, John. That's
but no, I'm throwing it out there. Say I'm happy to be stood corrected because Henriksen, I would have said a few weeks ago, as long as my arsehole points down, he will not make a Blackburn Rovers player. But he's proven me wrong, so fair play to the guy.
I've not seen the best out of him yet either. I think he hasn't shown
that, and that's the exciting bit.
But the next question is, but I know we talked about the players, but what about this? Which is the best formation for Rovers moving forward? We started the season with a 4-2-3-1. More recently, since the past couple anyway, we've gone to a 3 at the back. So what's you talking? Let's start with Holmesy. We'll go back to front on this one. What is your take on it? What would you like to see moving forward? What would be the regular formation for you?
I mean, we got the win with the 3-4-1-2 last weekend. But I suppose with our central defenders that we've got at the moment, Carter being out injured, Miller's naturally a right back, if I'm not mistaken. So it gives him more comfortable there in that position. I think until we get a full-blooded centre defender to play at the centre back, control that area, maybe 3 at the back isn't such a bad thing with the wing backs pushing up a bit slightly more attacking, getting those crosses in, and Alabiosu getting up a bit further forward. I mean, listen, unfortunately I don't get as many games as I'd like to down here in South Africa. I've got to wait for them to be televised on ESPN. Or when it's on Sky, so I can't get to the game. So it's hard for me to judge how we were playing previously. I can only give you my thoughts on this last game. But maybe defer to one of the guys who are at the games every week and can give you a more insightful view on the tactics.
Well, let's go, Denver. Denver, what are your take on them there, on the 2 formation options?
So I think they're pretty. If you think about it, in the build-up, they are very similar formations in the essence of They're both interchangeable. If you look at the five, the five at the back, you've got the two wing backs playing forward. You've got the three there. Vice versa when you're playing with because this is my coaching head now, guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to bore you here all asleep. Let's say one of the wing backs with the four at the back pushes forward. Maybe one of the centre backs, one of the CDMs will drop in, and then you've got your three back anyway. So I think the only main difference with this, of course, is that you've got both wing backs bombing forward, and you've just got two players up there because, of course, that's the area of the pitch that we're struggling with at the minute is scoring goals. You've got an extra body up there to try. So you've got Ohashi and Good Johnson up there to try and score these goals. We'd scored them today, but not today, on Saturday. But yeah, I can see why he switched to that and then trying to shore up the defense. But the issue, of course, is you've got teams now playing with three forwards. It's the popular thing. Three at the back. You're individually. You're one-on-one basically with that defense. So you really do need your wing backs to track back, and that's where we're getting caught out at the minute. When we've got the ball in transition, when the other team try and transition, that's where we're getting caught out at the minute with the high line, and you're playing with three at the back, 1v1 typically in certain scenarios, and we've got centre backs who aren't, I would say, the most quick, your McLaughlin and your Millers aren't rapid players, so it's where you need your discipline of your wing backs to really help out and create that block. But that we'll see. It's one of them where I think it depends on the game, and I think at some point we will probably transition back to the 4-2-3-1. But I see why he's transitioned to the five at the back just to have a bit of stability. But it is killing us on the transitions at the minute, especially when we lose it stupidly in midfield, high and outside the box. So that's a thing to look at.
Jacob?
I think based off the past two games, you'd say that it's favouring the strikers a bit more, this formation. Obviously, prior to this formation switch, Yuki had one glance off him. So, obviously I don't really count that. They had no goals between them, all three strikers. And then obviously past two games, Yuki's got one and Good Johnson's got one. So I think it was a needed switch. I think obviously prior to the international break, we were playing quite poorly in this formation in number one. I think number two, my only worry is like I said with Scott. Scott Wharton gets injured. We cannot carry on with this formation unless you put maybe a Harry Picker in there, which wouldn't be the worst idea at left centre half. He was quite good Leicester away when we stayed up and we played a back five. He played that left centre half role. But yeah, I think obviously it favours Albiasu, Deneve in those wing back roles, lets them bomb forward a bit more. The only problem is they've not got that runner in front of them to kind of play off. I were thinking, do you maybe put the extra man in midfield before obviously, Yuki and Good Johnson scored these goals, because what's the point in playing two strikers up front when none of them are scoring? Obviously, that's kind of changing, and hopefully they can both kick on. But I was thinking maybe get an extra man in midfield and see what can happen there. We've got a few options, obviously, in the midfield spaces. So, yeah, I'd stick with number two for now, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when one of the centre halves get injured. They can't carry on playing week in, week out all season, can they?
No, and does it change from 2-1 with Cantwell coming back? Does that influence the decision, do you think, Jonty?
Good question. I think this is my personal opinion. As you all know, I've got quite a simple mind. I don't overthink things, so I'm thinking number one is more of a away formation. Number two is more of a home formation, because number one, I'm basically seeing that it's a slightly safer bet, and number two, I'm seeing it's a little bit more of a.
We did play two at Coventry, John. I think it was more of a back five, though, obviously, because we were pinned in.
Yeah, there's an element of that. I think number two at home is a little bit more of a kamikaze. That's the word I was looking for, which is ironic, seeing that we've got two Japanese players. But we've got it's a bit more of a kamikaze
Don't get cancelled.
kamikaze approach, and therefore it's a bit of a gamble, as we saw against Sheffield United. But when we need it against Southampton, it works for us. So I'm not going to overthink this one too much. I think number one's a safe bet. Number two's a slightly more kamikaze approach. But let's decide upon who our opposition are before we decide upon what formation we play to a certain extent, is my opinion.
Yeah, that's my opinion also, sort of.
What about you, Dirk?
I don't care. Right now, what I care about is it's Halloween.
BRFC.
It's Halloween week, and I've got an 11 for you. This is a Halloween 11.
Is this a scary 11?
Where is my 11 gone here?
Chris Brown up top. No.
No,
Spoiler,
it's been replaced by Gay.
spoiler alert. Do you want to hear on the big screen for a minute while I fix this?
Oh,
That is
that is scary.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get there. And now we'll add that bad boy.
Whilst you're doing that, I just thought it was funny about Jacob talking about Callum Britton, how good he was, but it's only because you share the same haircut.
No,
Only now.
I do play a headband whilst I'm playing football as well.
Yeah.
The locks are too long now.
I used to back in the day when I was growing out the dreads. I had to wear the headband. It was like flopping over. But thank God those days are gone. Okay.
Oh, this
Dirk,
is
what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I know.
What's this?
What is this?
I know. Whoa, steady on. So it's Halloween week, right? So Halloween
I
week.
think they will beat Leicester.
So what I've created here is an 11, right? I'm going to give you the first one because there is, just so you can know where I'm going here. So each one of these people or things, for example, we got Dracula in there, we got Frankenstein, there's Shrek. Basically, they are, you see it all around all the time, like making spooky name or words into players.
Okay.
Is that me at right back?
It could be. So what I'll show you for this one's a little bit of a weird one. It's Frankenstein. I'm going to click on him in a second. So we're going to go Frankenstein. So this is my free one for you. What I found for Frankenstein, I got Frankenstein. Oh, it didn't work. Wait. Okay, here it is.
It's like the real thing.
I know. We'll get this. It's revealing now. So it is Frankenstein Fielding. I know he didn't play for Rovers. He was on our books, but he never played. The other one I was going to do was Bobby Mummy Mims. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what you pick a position. I'll bring up the character in full screen here on the left. Yeah. I'll tell you who the character is or what the thing is, and then we'll go from there. So
it's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. Once you get the first couple in, you'll be like, oh, I know what he is, and I'll give you clues. So hopefully this brings me back to
this is just full of euphemisms. Unbelievable. This is going to be hard.
Okay,
and you choose your position. Whoa.
So pick a position, and we'll bring him up on the screen.
Right back, Shrek.
Right back. This one, Shrek. So this is
Shrek,
also known as an ogre. Come on, guys. Come on.
Is someone called Olgar or something?
Maybe. Come on, I'm looking at you, Jonty. Look at you, Holmesy. You guys should know this guy.
Oh.
I'll click it, and it will reveal. You kick yourself after the end of this one.
Oh no.
He's working. He's thinking. Cut the cogs are turning.
Olgar.
Right back. Premier League season.
Yeah.
Crowns Paints.
Andre Leah.
There you go. He's got it. So it's Andre Ogre.
The Dutch.
Wasn't he more centre back though?
Well,
yeah, I was thinking that.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures. When it's very hard to make this 11. Look, Frankie Fielding, for crying out loud, never kicked the ball. So hey, he has played at right back. I checked transfer marked. So let's go back, hopefully, to the main. No, it doesn't go back there for whatever reason.
Oh, this is going well.
It is going well. Okay, pick another one. We did the right back.
Left back.
What?
Left back. Left back.
Left back. So this is also known as a warlock.
Warhurst.
Warnock.
Warhurst.
Close.
Warhurst.
Nope.
Danny
Warnock.
Warnock.
Waghorn.
Oh, Stephen Warnock.
Stephen Warnock. There you go.
Yeah.
I said Warnock.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear
Stole
you.
your thunder there, Denver.
I know. Thanks, mate. At least you credited me in the end.
It's not going there. Okay. We got 2. We got 3 of the 11. Come on, then. What do you want?
Yeah.
Doctor
Death.
Doom, because it's relevant. No? Oh, Death. Go and do Death and then Doctor Doom.
Death. So this is also known as the Grim Reaper.
Danny Murphy.
I'll click on it just so you know it's starting.
Grim Reaper.
Come on. Still playing a lot for Rovers these days.
Still plays.
He still plays. This guy still plays.
Matt Grimes?
Hey, Matt Grime Reaper.
Oh.
Alright.
Oh,
seen the kit.
I'm loving this.
I was thinking, like,
Tough.
played
This
for
was
us
tough,
that
man.
season.
That's why I needed extra time. Need another day. There is Matt
Dem.
Grimes.
Dirk,
Yeah.
do you just send Dev all the answers and he's just gonna decide as to which order they go in or something?
know,
I feel-
I'm just that good, mate.
Hey,
Don't-
come on.
No, you're
come
not,
on, we're
mate.
cooking.
You weren't even born when he were playing.
I was only 11.
E.T. Is that E.T.?
No, there's
Or
no.
right wing?
There's no
Do Doctor Doom. Come on. It's relevant,
Doctor
innit?
Doom. Doctor
Okay,
Doom.
Doctor
So
Doom.
This is also known as, well, the reason he's here is not is
Robert
Doom.
Downey Jr.
Doom.
With Doom.
Well,
We've had a
Doom.
long nose break. Doom.
Doom. Come on. Quickly before he shows his face. I
Joe
could-
Nuttall?
Who?
Dominic Samuel?
Dominic Samuel. That's right.
My theory's proved. My theory's proved.
I also could have
I
went Dominic Hyam, but I had my back 4 by the time of this point. So Dominic Samuel is here.
I actually have a shirt with his name on it. It was the worst
Aye.
version.
What
That's
else we got?
terrible, Denver.
It was terrible.
Should we
It's
go with
that-
Dracula?
It's because I had Dak.
Come on, you guys got to get this one.
Dracula?
Bradley Dack.
Yay, Bradley
well
Dracula.
done, guys.
That's right.
I'm literally about to say him.
We
The
got
reason why
this. You guys are like professionals
Same
now.
haircut as well.
Indeed.
the reason why I got Dominic Samuel is because I got Dak on the home kit, and them two were like bros back
Let's
in the
go
day.
this one. I'm picking this one
What
for
is
you.
this?
This one is someone that's been killed.
Right, right. That narrows
Okay.
it down.
Yeah, kill.
Kill
Gannon.
Hey, we're cooking. We're just cooking right now.
Oh, who was
Okay.
first with that, Chauncey? It was-
I don't know. It's all for fun.
I read the script, Dirk. So I
You
think it
did
was
read
me.
the script. So we've got
Yeah.
this one,
Dem,
this
Dem,
one.
Get VAR involved as to who got first.
We will leave it to the comments. Leave it for the comments.
4 left. We've got 4 left. Pick your position. We've got
Zombie.
centre back.
Go for it.
Mummy,
Go for
centre
it.
back.
You-
You say zombie? Let's go zombie.
Is that the clue? Zombie.
Yeah.
Zombie.
Zzz.
Hang on. Something Canilli.
You're getting there.
Yeah, Zenchin Canilli.
Zurab
I need the full name. The
Tijala
full name. There you go. Holmesy's on it.
Yeah.
Zurab Zombie Kashvili.
Yeah.
Yeah, I. Oh my god! If this was a Burnley podcast, is in your head zombie, so that would be Hannibal, wouldn't it? That's what they sing about.
I got my wingers and I got one striker left.
She's got a striker, is she?
The Scream, is it?
So she's frightened.
Jeez, there's a lot of players
Mac
frightened.
Tolgay.
Not frightened. Not
Yeah.
frightened.
So, or you could say just fright.
What the hell?
Freight, not freight.
No, fright. Fright was the right one. Fright. He's coming on you right now.
Oh, right.
He's
No.
shite.
Come on, you're gonna kick yourself.
Dwight
Andy
York.
Cole.
Dwight
Fright
York.
York. It's Fright
Dwight.
York.
It's Fright York, Dwight York.
Um,
There you go.
Yeah,
Jeez.
brilliant. Well, they're brilliant, aren't they? They're all brilliant.
I'm loving this.
This we're going to go to. So the right winger is not necessarily a right winger, but I ran out. I couldn't think of anybody else. But this is the
Position.
poltergeist.
What position did they actually play, Dirk?
Left wing, sort of. Yeah,
Poltergeist.
poltergeist, and he's coming.
Pedersen?
Who? What?
Pedersen?
Yeah, Molten Poltergeist Pedersen or whatever.
Jake.
Or Molten Gamp
Jesus.
Poltergeist. And then the final one is the other winger, and that is a demon right there.
Damien Duff.
Damien Duff is the answer. Demon Duff. And it completes your
You
Halloween
know what?
11.
Oh,
How
mate.
long did it take you to think of these two?
Forever, honestly. It was giving me fucking nightmares. I was like, holy crap. I thought it'd be easy. But we have gobbled up a whole bunch of time. We're gonna just let me remove this for a second here. Then we'll go here, and we're gonna go to the final. We're gonna skip a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll talk just to wrap this sucker up because I know Holmesy used to go to bed. It's late. But bringing this back on the screen right now. Where are we? We are here. We are there. We are bloody everywhere. Back to the form or the situation in the league. Of course, we are 21st. We've got 3 games left before the next international break. Just 3. I think that win against Southampton has definitely given us a boost at the right time. And I do think there are points to be won in these next 3. And we'll start with Denver. How many points to be won in the next 3 before we go on yet another international break?
Oh, dear. 2 away days, not going to be easy, especially how our form is at the minute. Derby's just going to be that's going to be a hell of a game. I'm not confident, I'm really not confident at the minute. Because we score these goals, I don't think we've sorted our season. I still think there's going to be issues. I can literally see maybe 2 points if we're lucky. That's saying a lot. I think 2 draws and a loss here. That's what I'm seeing.
2 draws and a loss.
Yeah.
Just look at Leicester's form. I just want to point that out. They're not flying. Really, they're just 1 win in 5. I'm questioning Leicester's credibility in this league at the moment. I think they're not good. I think they're there for the taking. Yeah. Who's next? Holmesy.
Yeah. Leicester, form-wise, as you said, 1 win and 4, 2 losses. So it could be they're not coming in on the back of a lot of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can get a point there away from home. I think I'd be happy with a point. I'd be happy with 5 points out of this. A draw against Bristol away would be fantastic. Don't think so. But I mean, Flip, we really want. That's going to be a massive grudge match against Derby.
Yeah.
At home. See who starts of our old Rovers. But yeah, hopefully we can get 3 points there. Those are the games, if we want to stay up, but those are the games we want to win against those teams around us. So I'd be happy with 5, but I think realistically maybe 4.
Yeah. John, do you got anything different?
I'm more worried about the games after Derby. Looking at it, Preston's going to be a tough gig away. QPR, tough gig at home, albeit they lost at the weekend. But they've since their 7-1 thumping away at Coventry, they've been the most informed Championship team. I think Wrexham. That's not anyway. That's for a future podcast. I guess, yes, it's given us a little bit of belief, I guess, against Southampton. But, let's not get carried away. It's been a tough season today. This is very much a case of head versus heart. My head's saying 7 points, so I think we'll beat Leicester and we'll beat Derby and we'll draw away at Bristol City. That's where my heart goes. That's what I want. I think the reality is we'll probably get 4. We'll get 3. We'll win one of those games and get a draw. I just don't know which way around it'll go. I'd like to think we'll beat Derby and maybe draw at Bristol City, or maybe draw at Leicester, get beat at Bristol City. I don't know, but I think an acceptable point from that is 5. Anything less than that will be a little bit really. So yeah, let's see.
Jacob, wrap us up on this.
Well, I'm gonna try and be a bit positive there after apparently being a miserable ghetto podcast according to Jonty.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God you're going to be a bit more joyous.
So yeah, I was kind of shocked with Denver saying 2 points. I'm gonna guess that we beat Leicester. Like I said before, obviously we're beating Southampton. We could have beat Ipswich. There's every chance we could have conceded a late goal as we have this season, but we should have beat Ipswich. I'm going to say off the back of obviously that poor run of form that you pointed out that lost the last two, that we go there and do the business. The last time we went there, we did. So I don't think we'll get anything from Bristol. I'll be honest. I think they're looking at a dangerous side this season. And then, yeah, I'm gonna hope and pray we win that derby game, which is our 150th. Because if we don't, it could get really toxic around Ewood with the circumstances of Eustace coming back with Rovers B team. So yeah, I'm going to be optimistic and hope that the win against Southampton was a catalyst and go for 6 points. But everything in my mind is suggesting otherwise. But we'll see.
Yeah, and if I think there's a lot riding on that. I know Big Val got the win this week, and again, if we don't win anything with the other two, there is a scenario that and there is a scenario that Derby could be his last game, I would say, but I think that would have to go down to how much pride in Val would he, because I don't see Rovers getting rid of him. It would be a case of him saying, "That's it. I've got like not gonna stand for this shit anymore," and he could walk away. There is a scenario where he could walk away.
What JDT did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't sack JDT, walked.
So, but yeah, I think there's, so it's a big. This could be an important result against Southampton, which could give us some moving momentum. But yeah, I think the Derby game is season defining at this point of the season already. I think even if we lose the other two and win that game, I think the morale will be sky high. And if we win these next two and lose Derby, there still could be. I think there's a score to be settled with Derby at the moment. So, but around the houses here, Denver, closing comments before we bounce out of here.
I think give Ishmael time. Don't get on his back. He's doing his best. It's promising. The results aren't what we want, of course not. But everything there is suggesting that it's bound to happen. Look, it's bound to happen. We start putting the ball in the net. We stop conceding goals. The easiest two things in football, of course. And we're laughing. We're climbing up the table. But you just need to give this team a bit of patience. Remember the project that we're bringing in unproven players to hopefully make into little gems to sell on for a profit, and that's how we're going to gain our money. And that's the model we're going after. And at the minute, it's all pointing in that direction. The results, of course, are not what we want them to be, but you'd rather be in the position that we're in now than playing crap football and in the position that we're in, right? So be optimistic. As I've just, said that we're going to get 2 points in the next 3 games. And just, I think, look, Ishmael's doing everything right at the minute in terms of on the pitch. He's putting the right players on. I think he's not got much going forward, so he's hurt by that. Let's see what happens in January. But I just think he's doing an all right job. We just need, hopefully, the players on the pitch now to just get that cutting edge and put a few balls in the back of the net, which the chances are there that we're creating, and stop leaking in a few silly goals. And yeah, we should be okay.
Holmesy.
I'm just going to say one thing. If Ishmael does go, my money's on Denver Green.
I'm in.
The draws
I'll be the first.
We do get on the fence with the draws.
Yeah, I'll be the first. I'll be leading that song of Green Out. Green Out.
What do you mean? You're going to be my assistant, aren't you? You're going to be on the bench.
Oh yeah, shit, no.
Buckley straight back into the team. Right back in. Jonty, close us out. Well,
Humphrey never got to say anything. He just said that.
Yeah.
Green out, no. Yeah, let's just hope. I mean, it's going to be an interesting season. Denver said that the boys need time to get used to it. Let's see where we are come January. I think that's the least we can do with Ishmael. Give him time to build something.
Yeah, manage expectations. I know we had the dizzy heights of just finishing outside the playoffs. That ain't going to be again this season. I'd settle for a mid-table finish now, as long as we're not, in the relegation scrap after Christmas. That's the acid test for me. So let's just consolidate what we've got. We're in a new era. To be fair, we're only 13 points away from third or fourth place or whatever ridiculous it is. So I think it was Sky Sports that said a couple of weeks ago that 35% of the championship games have been drawn this season. So it's the most competitive the championship has ever been. So let's not get giddy, but also let's keep realistic. I'd settle for a mid-table finish now, as long as we're not struggling and scraping for in and amongst the relegation zone. But I think that's going to happen anyway. I think a lot of teams, right up to the playoff positions this season will be potentials, that could either go up or go down. So this season, more than ever, it seems like it's a game of mistakes, and the team that makes the least most mistakes might be all right. So who knows? Let's just not make a load of mistakes, which I think that is, if you were to ask me to summarise right now what's gone wrong with Blackburn Rovers, I think we've just made too many little shitty mistakes. Just decision making in the final third, in the back third, in midfield. We're easily dispossessed. We make silly passes, and we've just got to cut out all those silly mistakes. Is that down to Ismaël? I don't believe so personally. I think that's down to the players on the pitch. So yeah, a bit like what Denver said, we just need to back the manager. I believe in this guy. I think it'll take him a couple of seasons, but let's give him the time he absolutely needs and warrants and deserves. Over and out.
Jacob, close us out. Big time proper.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, what I'm about to say is kind of what I said before, but I mean, I don't think one result changes everything. I'm hoping, as I just done with my predictions, it's a catalyst. I want to, believe that'll happen, and we've turned a corner now. But everything inside me is saying it just won't happen. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, the manager's win rate is down there. It really is. It's not a great track record so far. And as I said, he's defending these players. He's defending the summer. We've lost so many championship-proven players, but he wants to stand by the players he's brought in, and I suppose he's going to have to fall on his sword if it comes to it. These are his players. He's chosen these guys to come in, and unfortunately, they haven't been doing the business on the pitch. I agree. There's been a lot of individual errors. I think obviously they mentioned the expected points and things like that. I think obviously we've just not been anywhere near as clinical enough as we should have been at times in front of goal. So I'm just hoping Yuki and Good Johnson have maybe got their shooting boots on now, and hopefully it'll be a big morale boost. Obviously that Southampton win, and we'll see that now.
Yeah. Anyone going to the next couple of games? Just curious.
I'm humming and ahhing whether to go Bristol, Dirk. I've never been to Ashton Gate, but like I said, I'm not confident in that. But I think it's 15 quid for under 25, so it's quite reasonably priced.
Oh, I just miss out.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So
20 quid for adults, Jonty.
Say again?
20 quid for adults. 15 quid for OAPs. You're getting that one.
Yeah, seniors. Yeah.
I'll try and get to him. I think Derby definitely. I'll be at that game, but
I'm not going.
You know,
Oh,
go
Chauncey,
double.
we were talking about this, didn't we? You were saying how you were going to miss out because of some event or something, wasn't it? And I was like,
Yeah,
you've got to get to that game.
I'm at,
You can't
I'm
miss
at,
that one.
I'm at Centre Parks, mate. We booked Centre Parks like back in probably February before I'd even realised that was going to be our anniversary. But you know, we could have been away, we could have been at home. But no, I'm out in Centre Parks. But yeah, if the missus is watching, I'm out in Centre Parks. Between us lot, there's a good chance. There's a good chance I'm going to be driving back from Nottingham and making that game. On the theory that our
It's
next
not a topic.
celebratory birthday will be our 200th. I ain't going to be here to see that bad boy. Do you know what I mean? I ain't going to live to see 60.
You never know,
so,
Chauncey. You're only 21, aren't you?
mate, I ain't going to be there, mate. I'm 145 years old now. I ain't going to live to see that. So.
All right, well, on that note, we'll thanks again, guys, for getting over video time to talk all things Blackburn Rovers. And like I said at the start of the podcast, we are looking forward to Leicester City this coming match day, of course. I will be here with the watch along, of course, as I do. And of course, it is then a short, sharp another week before the 150th anniversary match with Derby County. Of course, lots going to happen before then and now. So make sure you subscribe and smash a like. Your one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers content is right here. And if you want to help out in the channel, of course, if you want to be part of the channel in another way, maybe be a voice on this podcast, please let us know down in the comments, because of course we are looking for always for new faces to be part of the Roverseas Mafioso. But until then, I'll see you soon whenever you return. But until then, we are done for now.